Hello. As it was mentioned, just to go to the goal directly, because we are running out of time. So the second sustainable development goal is zero hunger. So zero hunger, when we see, everybody knows hunger, hungry, everybody knows about it. But what exactly is zero hunger? Zero hunger is something like, in this planet, no human stays without food. But generally when you listen or think about hunger, generally people say, oh, hunger means not like, you skipped your meal of afternoon and then getting the dinner. It's not that, but you are getting sufficient malnutrition, nutritional foods, so malnutrition is not there, and everybody gets the food. Now, is it the problem of only developing or underdeveloped nations that this issue is there? No, it is there in the developed countries as well. If you look at from Northern America to the end on this side to Australia, you will find that there is people who are going through this. So what is the cause? Is it because we don't have much production of food? Is it the reason? No. Because if you look at that statistics, you will see that there are production, ample production, but that production is not reaching the end user. End user is who is consuming the food. Now, what are the things which basically, as a gap or the stop points or the bottlenecks, which basically making this hunger worldwide like it? And now the statistics also mentioned that around 8 million of the population worldwide is basically into this bracket. But if you look year on year, whether this has improved or it has gone down, but you will see that year on year there is improvement on the zero hunger target, which is basically by 2030 even has given the target year that the target should be achieved. There will be no human who will be hungry or without food by 2030. And it is achievable. Because when you look at the word and when you see the pictures which is normally in the websites or in the documentaries, you see some kids in Africa who are, without food and very, very thin, very lean. Seeing that photos, sometimes we feel that, it's really a problem. There is no food grains, but there is cultivation is available, everything else. But the problem is the infrastructure. Now UN has given the goal, but again the implementation of these things remain with the government of those countries. Because food is produced by the farmers, and then you have a production, then you have processing, then you have distribution, finally when it reaches the end user or the person who is having the food. Now, if you look at the developing countries or even in developed countries, the channel which I just mentioned, there are breakages, and that is where the infrastructure plays a main role. Now, when we talk about infrastructure, we all know that 20 years before, every time in the newspaper you could see that Food Corporation of India, so many stocks in the godown has gone wasted and it has to be thrown out. But now if you see in the last 10 years time, there is drastic improvements, and you cannot see these type of news in the current times. And why it is not happening? Because in India specifically, if you look, because I'll take the Indian side rather than taking a global picture of it, but it is more or less same in every part of the world. What is required, the basic thing required for this is the infrastructure, the roads. Roads means basically from the producer to the end user, the connectivity, because these we are talking about food, grains, vegetables and all those things. Because if it is the harvest has come, it has to reach in the minimum required time to be consumed. If it is not consumed on time, then there is no use of whatever you harvest. And when I say that, we also should see the statistics in India itself. Whatever we produce as food grains, in a year, 1/3 of it goes as waste. Just because that there are areas from the producer to the end user, the chain is not working, there is gaps, there are no proper cold storage or processing units, and the farmers to reach the mandi. And this is where the, very recently, few years before, like there was a farmers bill which came, which was understood in a very wrong way, that, because again, why I say it is understood in a wrong way, because the middleman who used to earn and who still earn a lot of money, which the producers don't get, the farmer, because you have seen lot of states where the farmers have committed suicide. Why they have committed suicide? It's not that they are not able to produce, but the thing is that whatever they produce, and it's not getting the correct rate. But then, when as an end user, when you go and buy in any shop, you are paying a hefty amount for the food grains. So where the money is going, it is going into the middleman's pocket. So to overcome that, there are solutions which we should look into, basically how you can connect the producer to the end user. Now you can see that, from farmer to anybody, mobile is a very common use, and apps are used for even the GPay, Google Pay, and also everybody from farmer to anybody, industry, everybody is using that. So making use of that, if we can connect the mandi with the farmers, probably farmers might get a good rate, and that probably will increase the economic standard of the farmer. And when the economic standard of a farmer is at a sustainable level, then probably he might be able to concentrate on, he might be able to take the risk, wherein if he had a bad crop, but he can still sustain to the next cropping level. Right now it is not the scenario, like, right now, in the sense, in the last 20 years, we have seen that if one crop goes waste, then the farmer has no other solution, but because the banks are not there to give loans, so there is only one solution, that he has to commit suicide. So if we have to overcome all these things, first is that the infrastructure will speed up the things. Processing units, now in the Gramin Kalyan Yojana, where government has come up with clusters in rural areas where you can have storage space. You can, if you have a harvest, you can keep it in those storage places with a minimal rental. And whenever the prices of these food grains increases, the farmer can take it and sell it out. That way, he can pay the rental as well as maximize his profit. So, and this will allow the farmers to go for better farming technologies, better profit. And this way, the wastage of food can be minimized. And when we say that wastage is minimized, definitely the reach of these things with the infrastructure and with all the processing things like the cold storage or the storage places, in short, the supply chain, what we call as in the terminology, if the supply chain is proper from producer to the end user, then probably we will see a day that even 2030 is the goal. Probably will be able to reach the remotest place where the food has to be reached, and it can eliminate the hunger, and we can say that zero hunger can be achieved. Now we talked about the infrastructure, but again I emphasize on one point, that this has to be done by the government of the day, because infrastructure cannot be done by anybody else. But yes, the other process in the supply chain can be done by the private players, because if private players come into picture, probably we can have cooperative society type of things for the farmers, or between the farmers, which can they can bargain and they can go to the mandi and they can create. And initially I talked about the mandi, but there are a few individuals who have come up with organization. They have developed some app wherein the connectivity of farmers to the mandi can be in your fingertips. So these are the things which probably will make it. And I have seen that in the northern India, you can see in many states the clusters have been formed by the state governments, and which is basically bringing in very positive results as far as food wastage is concerned. It is reduced and it can reach. And one of the scenes probably you might all have seen while going to the roads, 20-30 years before, if you are going to any roads or highways or any city roads, you will hardly find vegetable vendors. But now if you see, vegetable fruits are so many. Why that is there? Because the connectivity, the infrastructure is working. That means anything produced somewhere, apple is produced somewhere in very Shimla or Himachal or Kashmir, is reaching Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka in a very few days. That way the perishable items doesn't perish that fast, and it is you are getting a fresh fruit here. And this I am telling because, you know, I am from Nagpur, and in Nagpur couple of years before I just went to some orange farms, and they were saying that, the farmers were saying that, you know, we are hardly making money because the contractors, they take the, you know, food, they take it a lot, and then they say that, you know, because of rain, because of road, this is not reaching there and we are not making money. But now the thing is that same farmers who are there in that area are fetching better rates for oranges, and those oranges are reaching, if you see in Kerala itself or even Thiruvananthapuram itself, you can see that lot of places the oranges are there, and it is much cheaper than which it was in last 5-10 years before. Whatever you get everywhere 100 rupees 3 kgs, and this was not the scenario, like, you know. So if we have proper infrastructure and all these supply chains is in proper place, definitely what will happen is that the end user is going to get a better or less price for better quality. And when we do that, what is the benefit for end user is that if the supply chain or the infrastructure is in proper place, then we will be definitely into the Amrit Kal, which the government always mention. Because once you are getting cheaper rate, that means your cost or the government's the expenditure will also gradually come down. This will allow the taxpayer to pay less tax, because we will see a day where the taxes normally, you know, last 40-50 years we have seen that the tax rates have been always increasing. Now is a time where this infrastructure and the supply chains, basically you all know that, you know, when we were very small in the school days, when somebody wants to write an essay on India, the first line always would be India is an agricultural country or agriculture state. But over the years that state has not been there. But we are gradually coming into that. We are coming into the sustainable development in the agriculture side, which will definitely bring in zero hunger, and we will see that Amrit Kal, everybody will be without hunger, will be full of food, and in a very cheaper rate and better quality, and which will help the health, wealth of the nation and the people. Thank you.